Choosing the right cloud infrastructure is crucial for almost any business, and working through all the options and costs can take time, effort, and stress. We're Impeccable, and in this video, we're going to make life easier for you by comparing the two giants, AWS and GCP, side by side in this video. We'll cover the key factors critical to your business: cost, performance, and customer experience. Plus, I'll share one important insight that could influence your decision. Let's start with the basics. What are cloud services? Let's imagine you have two people and they're both writers. Let's call person one Jim. Jim has just written the greatest novel of all time, 1,000 pages that are sure to be the next American classic, but he's only saved it to his own laptop. The other writer, let's call her Jane, has also written a great novel, but she's been working on a cloud system, maybe Google Docs. She doesn't need to save her work because every so often the cloud backs it up to servers hundreds of miles away. One day, Jim drops his laptop and damages it beyond repair. He takes it to the repair shop, but his hard drive is wrecked. Jim's future bestseller is lost forever. The same thing happened to Jane, but because she was working on a cloud, all she needed to do was buy a new laptop and log into her book. Her work is good to go. Cloud services like AWS and GCP do the same thing, but on a bigger scale. They allow companies to put their entire system on a remote server and access it from any computer or mobile device, anywhere in the world. It means that multiple people can work on the same thing simultaneously, and the likelihood of the work being lost is extremely low. The cloud could be on a shared server in the main offices, known as physical servers, or you could pay to use part of someone else's remote servers, a bit like Jane, known as virtual servers. It's beneficial in the days of hybrid and home working. For most businesses, the best cloud service providers are AWS and GCP. AWS stands for Amazon Web Services. This is the biggest company with 31% of the market share as of March 2024. It also has more data centers than its competitors, but that doesn't mean it has what you need. GCP stands for Google Cloud Platform. Although they have only 11% of the market share, they offer some things that AWS doesn't. But before we get to that, let me take you through some of the features both companies provide and which offer the best ease of use and customer experience with these shared products. Both AWS and GCP offer a suite of computing services that allow you to create your own programs, apps, and systems online. How useful each is for your company depends on a few things. Both use a system called Infrastructure as a Service, or IaaS, which gives you access to online resources like storage and virtual machines. With Infrastructure as a Service, you don't need your own hardware other than computers and a way to access the internet. So the cost and time of buying hardware, running and maintaining the servers are on the cloud service provider. AWS's Infrastructure as a Service is called the Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, or EC2. Google has Google Compute Engine, or GCE. With both, you get a whole suite of tools, including customizable virtual servers, virtual machines, and storage options that can be leased on demand and scaled up and down in size as necessary. You can scale up if you need more storage, processing power, or memory for a project. When the project ends, you can scale down. You can also scale up if you have huge spikes in traffic from time to time, because of a press release or your business being seasonal, and then scale down after. That's much cheaper and easier than scaling up your own servers. There's one crucial difference between AWS and GCP when it comes to scaling when you have a sudden or unexpected influx of customers or traffic, but I'll get to that when we compare the two companies' networks. If you still want to have your own cloud servers on site, AWS allows you to run your system as VM local or a virtual machine local. That can make processing and response times quicker. Anyone who has used one of Google's Chrome computers knows it doesn't have many options for local storage. GCP is the same. There's no option to put your GCP service on a server in your offices, but you can store things on local solid-state hard drives if you need more speed, giving you the best of both worlds. However, given how fast GCP is, you might not need them. Both let you use something called instance types for your projects. These are combinations of CPU power, memory, storage, and networking ability that are sold as a bundle to run on virtual machines. Think of it as buying a computer for a particular project. So you choose the memory, hard drive, and CPU you need, but want access through the internet. With AWS, you get flexibility when choosing the type of instance you want, the operating system, and the software package you want to use. You also get full control over instances from root access up. Like everything in AWS, this allows you to grow your capacity as you need to automatically. But that growth can become a hidden charge. You could pay more with AWS if you get the wrong instance type for a project. GCP is also quickly scalable, but GCP's instances tend to be pre-optimized. That is, more tailored to the tasks you want to do. You can choose from either the compute-optimized or general-purpose machine family of instance types, depending on how much power you need. But GCP lets you determine which virtual machine you'll need before running instances, so you aren't surprised by hidden costs. Another potential for hidden costs is storage. Storage was the first use of cloud services and is still the most commonly used part of it. Both AWS and GCE have a few different types of storage. AWS has simple storage and the, as always, automatically scalable Amazon Elastic Block Store and DynamoDB, and Amazon Glacier, which is built for long-term archiving with almost no data loss. If you need your storage to grow without thinking about it, Elastic Block Store is good, but keep an eye on those costs. If you need to keep things on the cloud for years, even decades, Glacier is a good choice. Google, as always, is all about speed, as well as simple cloud storage and Cloud SQL. For people who use the programming language SQL, it has Cloud Spanner. Cloud Spanner is swift and, at least within the laws of physics and the size of Google's servers, infinitely scalable, making it great for things like analyzing big data with Google's BigQuery tool. Once you have all that data, you want to keep it safe. Both AWS and GCP have similar security features. For example, both have shielded and confidential virtual machines, so your operations are protected. For access, both use Identity Access Management, or IAM. IAM gives the right people access to their part of the cloud. For example, maybe you probably don't want someone to have access to the company accounts. IAM allows you to do that. Google's IAM can be used with other Google Cloud products like Gmail, giving people in an organization one way to access everything they need. AWS can be integrated with Amazon.com, but if you want to use other Amazon products like e-commerce, you'll need passwords. But that might not be all the security you need, and here Google comes out slightly ahead. As well as AIM, AWS has CloudWatch, which monitors your services and apps for anything suspicious, and Elastic Beanstalk, which, amongst other things, keeps an eye on the health of your apps. They ask for an SSH key, a type of password you need to generate if you want to log on to an instance from your computer. They also offer multi-regional backups and disaster recovery should something go wrong. Google has Cloud Armor, which provides additional protection from hacking and web attacks, Security Scanner, which scans your resources for weaknesses, a system for rotating encryption keys, and Identity-Aware Proxy, which not only verifies who a user is, but makes sure they are accessing your cloud at the right place and time. It doesn't ask for an SSH key because it stores and remembers your key on your computer and accesses it automatically. If you have sensitive data, GCP comes out slightly on top, but AWS may be better if you live somewhere prone to natural or human-made disasters, like earthquakes or war, especially given how many data centers they have. Both companies have networks that connect hundreds of data centers in more than 200 countries. Despite GCP's focus on speed, AWS has a more extensive network, so it should be, on paper, faster. But Google is rolling out boosted data centers, with 8 online and more to follow. They have a 20% to 50% quicker response rate than the standard data centers. Add GCP's focus on speed elsewhere, and they may soon have the edge if what you are after is swiftness. Additionally, both AWS and GCP offer load balancers. Load balancers are the client's point of contact. They take incoming traffic and spread it across multiple targets, so no individual server becomes overloaded. However, AWS only balances traffic in a single region, whereas GCP spreads it more widely. In practice, that means both cloud services will run fine 95% of the time. But if you have a sudden surge in traffic, GCP's Cloud Load Balancer can handle it without you needing to do anything. With AWS's Elastic Load Balancer, however, you have to contact them to pre-warm or reconfigure your load balancer so it has enough capacity. Both companies provide an excellent customer experience and get over 90% in customer satisfaction surveys. The services run well, the tools are helpful, and the products are high quality and well maintained. But what if you have a problem? Both offer free customer service via email, but a reply can take days, weeks, or even months. For a better response time, you'll also need to pay for extra customer care. Both companies offer customer care tiers, from the free basic package to the fastest response times and all the bells and whistles, from $10,000 a month for AWS to $12,000 a month for GCP. The more you pay, the better and faster the service you get. In both cases, feedback is excellent. However, there is one way that GCP has the edge over AWS here. In the free tier, they also run live chat support 24/7. You might be waiting in line for a while, but it will speed things up when you're stuck. AWS and Google have many tools available for developers. These are mostly excellent, but developers have complained that their APIs, that is, application programmable interfaces, or the mechanisms used for one piece of software to talk to another, can be inconsistent. So you have to work out how they work every time. AWS is generally worse for this because most people haven't used the suite of tools Amazon has available, so there can be a bit of a learning curve when you first start using it. GCP's tools are by Google, so they are more familiar and more accessible because most of us have used one or another of them before. They both sometimes provide too many tools that do the same thing. If you're not careful, you can spend more money on duplicate tools, which brings me on to the cost. You might have some idea which is better for you by now, but there's that last important question of cost. Unfortunately, it's not a simple one to answer. Regarding pricing, it's complicated, but there are a few things to consider with both. When you start with GCP, you get use of a free tier and a $300 credit to use on 24 products for the first 90 days. AWS also has free trials, and they differ depending on what you are using. For example, at the time of recording, you can get 2 months of free machine learning with SageMaker. They also have some always free options like 25 GB on their DynamoDB databases. Both offer pay-as-you-go billing, where you only pay for what you use. Both charge per second with a minimum charge of 60 seconds. AWS also provides per-hour billing for some of its services. For storage, GCP currently starts at 2 cents per gigabyte per month, while AWS is 0.023. That doesn't sound like much of a difference, but it can add up quickly, especially if you need tera or petabytes of storage. They also offer discounts for committed use. With AWS, if you agree to a set price for using the same instance over 3 years or promise to spend a certain amount over time, you can get as much as a 72% discount. GCP also has committed use discounts. The most popular are resource-based, where you agree to use Compute Engine for between 1 and 3 years for a 37 to 55% discount, and spend-based, where, like AWS, you promise to spend a certain amount. So, which should you go for? It's safe to say both are good and very similar in many ways, but there are some differences. AWS is excellent if you want adaptability. If you think your projects might grow or shrink, and you don't have time to contact Amazon about a bigger package, it's the perfect way to go. It's also great for long-term storage. It has a massive network all around the globe, so latency is unlikely to be an issue. It's also the company to go for if you want to keep the servers in-house. It's let down a little in security, though not by much, and the developer experience can be a bit frustrating at times due to too many similar tools that often integrate in entirely different and not always intuitive ways. GCP is also guilty of that, though not as much. They also have slightly more robust security, and you get more from the free customer service option. Running programs on the GCP cloud is lightning fast, and its infrastructure, though smaller than AWS, is gaining on them and is already faster in some places. If I had to sum it up in one sentence, I would say the key difference is AWS's scalability versus GCP's high performance. Both offer crucial advantages depending on the demands of your projects. There is one final option: both. Why not use both? It protects you from redundancies and lets you access the best of both worlds. If you have a project that's likely to balloon as it goes, use your AWS cloud. If you have another that needs high speeds, use GCP. It's known as the multi-cloud, and it's growing in popularity among businesses. Thank you for watching this video. We're Impeccable, a full-service, end-to-end digital product consultancy that can help your company achieve your digital goals. Learn more by visiting our website, www.impeccable.com, via the link in the description. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more free comparisons, tips, and explainers.